Hello, future engineers, and let's take a look at creating PokemonGO from OnShape Practice 2 inside of OnShape. So I am going to create a new file, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this hockey stick shape. So I'm going to try and do as few sketches as possible and draw this hockey stick shape on this front view. I'll right click so I can view normal to the plane. And I'm going to start by drawing a line that is 3.38 in length. Oh, I will dimension it after actually. And then I will draw this one up over here. Cool. So let's dimension this line, and like I said, it's 3.38, and we find this by adding up the lengths over here. So we've got 1.5 plus 1, so we're at 2.5 plus 0.88, which is our distance from the center all the way to the edge. So we get 3.38 for our total length. And then our dimension over here, this angular dimension is 1.5. Or not the angular, the length of this angled line is. Now I want to create a construction line that will go across over here so that I can do an angular dimension of this line. And the angle there is 60. Cool. So now I have got this little bend, but I want to offset this distance so that we can get a shape, the full extrusion of this. So I can go right here. It's our very first modify tool. We've got offset. So I'm going to choose this line and drag it down. And I can just click outside of it, and it's going to ask me to enter in a dimension, which is 0.38. And now I can just go in and fill in these edges over here. You can see that it's unconstrained. It will finish in the sketch and it will work, but if we want to constrain those up, we just need a perpendicular constraint on each of those edges, just so it knows exactly what we're talking about here. So let's finish up our extrusion. So we'll finish the sketch, highlight the sketch, and choose to extrude it. And this distance is twice the radius, or one diameter, which is 1.76 in length. So we'll finish that up. I can go to my isometric view and see if it looks right. Cool. So I'm going to hide the visibility of all these unnecessary planes over here. And I'm going to throw in my fillets to get these features right. So the bottom one over here, we are going to create that a fillet of the radius, which is 0.88. And we can finish that one up. Now we have a 0.43 radius for our top two faces over here. So we'll do top at 0.43. Cool. And we're looking good throughout. Now we have three features left. We have this slot, we have this rib, and we have these two holes. So I'm going to start by making this rib over here. And in order to do that, I am going to do a plane that is an offset plane here. I'm going to offset it inwards halfway through. So if you remember, our diameter was 0.76, meaning our radius is 0.88. So we can create a plane just by offsetting it that distance right there. And now I can sketch on this plane. I am once again going to zoom to normal on this. And now I'm going to use my use tool right here, use project convert. And I'm going to steal this edge, and this edge so that I can easily draw a line from here to here. And it's going to totally region, which means that this area is grayed in. It creates a single loop. So now the only thing that's left is to dimension from there to there. So I'll choose my dimension tool, go down over here and use 1 as our dimension. We get that looking over here. We can finish that sketch, and now we want to extrude this symmetrically on both sides. So when we choose our extrude tool, we choose this face. And now we don't want a blind end, we want a symmetric end, and this distance is only 0.25 in thickness. So we've got that all looking good. I am going to once again hide the visibility of my plane just so it looks a little cleaner. And let's move on to this slot feature over here. So I'm going to choose a sketch on this face. I will zoom to view this face as normal. And now let's create a hole that is concentric with this one. So I am going to draw this out, and then I'll draw another one over here too, and we'll get to dimensioning these. So the dimension of this hole, we only get the radius over here at 0.38, so that's really 0.3 or 0.76 in terms of diameter. This one is also 0.7, 76. Cool. All right, so now I want to draw a line between these two, and you can see that this one is not actually lined up with it. It's a little off. So I am going to dimension this line because we know the distance between the 2 points is a distance of 1. And now I'm going to use a coincidence constraint to make sure that this center matches this end. So I'll go over to my constraints, choose my coincident constraint, and say that this center matches with this line. And now they are drawn up together. Cool. So now I can create a line that goes from here to here, and then do the same thing from here to here. Now they are not constrained, so we need to take our tangent tool, which is going to connect our rounded surfaces to our straight surfaces. So I'll choose tangent again. And we now have everything fully constrained. So I want to trim out the parts that I don't need. I'll go to my trim tool, choose this part, this part, this part, and this part. And now I can finish that sketch, go over here, and I want to extrude this face out. So I will go and extrude this face. We want to remove and select OK. Cool. So now the last thing that we have to do is add those hole features over here. So I'm going to sketch on this face, and once again right click to zoom to normal. I'm going to take my point tool, and if I highlight over here, it's going to automatically snap to that concentric spot. I can choose right there, so I don't have to throw in my concentric constraint. Though it's pretty simple. If you were to place it anywhere, you just choose your concentric constraint, choose what you want it to have concentric to, and then have it fill in. So let's just undo that last one. And we can finish that sketch because we really just needed to place those points so that when we go to our hole command, and we choose those 2 points, we want to set this to the dimensions over here. So if we read this, this is 2 holes that have a through diameter of 0.25. So the diameter that goes all the way through is 0.25. The diameter of the counter bore is 0.5, and then the depth of the counter bore is 0.125. So we can click OK over there, and we have finished that part. So let's look at our properties. I'm going to select this. So if you didn't see, the properties tool is actually down over here. So this is how we choose our mask properties. And then we select what part we want to. And we can see this. It's asking us to define a material. We don't need to do that in order to find our volume and surface area, which is going to tell us whether or not we did the geometry correct. All right, that is it for drawing Pokemon Go. I hope that helped. I'll talk to you later. Bye.